Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the global Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
Hello everyone, my name is Naledi Mfoloe and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our communities. Today we dive deep into the currents of information, from the pulse of politics to the heartbeat of entertainment. We've got it all covered, so please stay tuned for a news experience like no other. Today's story dives into the central topic of the week, and that is the revelation and ensuing controversy involving the EFF, the VBS bank scandal, and the confessions made by advocate Naledi Mfoloe admitting to receiving donations from the now collapsed VBS bank. Now, this has caused quite a stir in the political circles and raised significant ethical questions. Now, advocate Naledi Mfoloe, former EFF chairperson, has made headlines after stating on national television that his party received a donation from the infamous VBS Mutual Bank, which collapsed in 2018 due to shocking fraud and corruption, leaving many poor and vulnerable South Africans defrauded. Now, this admission comes in stark contrast to the party's previous staunch denials of any involvement with the scandal-ridden bank. Now, the VBS Mutual Bank debacle left a devastating impact on numerous communities, implicating several high-profile individuals, political parties in a web of corruption, theft, and money laundering. Now, the cracks of the fraud saw about 2.3 billion looted from burial societies, stokvels, municipalities, and individual savings, particularly affecting the elderly. Now, the recent 15-year sentence handed to the bank's former chairperson, Chifiwa Modonzi, underlines the severity of the crimes committed. His explosive affidavit, serving as part of a plea deal, has exposed a broader network of corruption implicating political parties, including the EFF, ANC, and the SACP. Now, in an interview on Newsroom Africa, Mfoloe stated that the EFF's acceptance of funds from the VBS was purely a donation and not, as some have suggested, the proceeds of illicit activities. Mfoloe was firm in his stance that there was no wrongdoing on the party's part and challenged those accusing the EFF of corruption to produce concrete evidence. Let's have a look.
For not using your preferred method of obtaining the money, well, do it. But don't criminalize something that happens every day with every political party and even with individuals for that matter.
Okay. Mr. Goss?
The underlying crime, if there is to be a crime, is that the EFF leaders went to Matodzi and Matodzi went to the, whichever way it happens. Matodzi approached EFF leaders, and EFF leaders willingly and through their own volition attended to a meeting with Matodzi where such arrangements were made when they knew full well they were not entitled to the monies that ought to. So that conspiracy happened to defraud the bank of the savings of the old poor people.
No,
gentlemen.
So that means every donation is fraud then?
Out of time.
The
ANC has to give final thoughts.
Okay.
Now, Mpofu's remarks, however, stand in sharp contradiction to earlier denials from the EFF. Last week, following the leaked affidavit by Madonzi, EFF member Floyd Shivambu reaffirmed the party's stance, saying this.
We have since clarified that the EFF has never been involved with VBS and we've never benefited anything from VBS, and that is a final position. And the good thing about this is that not even one of the law enforcement agencies has ever brought an inquiry to the extent that seeks to question whether the EFF was involved or not, because they all have admitted that the EFF was not involved.
It's no donation from VBS.
You've checked.
Yeah, and your champion, Polly, would have actually exposed that donation by now, because she works with a guy in Verksman who are busy investigating, who are working with the liquidators, by the way. That's where she gets the information. If there was any donation to the EFF, Polly would have exposed it. If that evidence that you point to was real evidence that could stand the test of time, they would have taken me on by now. Remember, the VBS prosecution, the leading investigators have always been ready to charge. It is alleged that Batoyi has always sent them back because Malema was not on the list of the people who must be prosecuted.
Now, I must say that the conflicting narratives within the EFF raise critical questions about transparency and accountability in political party funding. Advocate Mpofu's admission appears to place the party in a dangerous position, highlighting the nature of political financing and the subsequent obligations of transparency to the public. Now, Madonzi's affidavit paints a questionable picture. The affidavit confirms that the funds were transferred to the EFF and its leaders in multiple separate tranches, contradicting Mpofu's earlier statement and suggesting a more deliberate and concealed flow of money. Now, these revelations shine a light on the broader systematic issues that plow political financing in South Africa. If the political parties are to maintain public trust, transparency and accountability must be at the forefront of their operations. And the apparent contradiction in the EFF stance, coupled with Madonzi's detailed accounts, leaves a cloud of suspicion that cannot easily be ignored, if we're being honest. And also, the devastating impact of the VBS scandal on the lives of ordinary South Africans cannot be overlooked. The elderly citizens and the municipal funds entrusted to VBS were looted recklessly, leaving scores of people without savings and community without necessary financial resources. And honestly, that is not fair. It is these victims who now await justice the most. And as the trial progresses with the former VBS Chief Financial Officer, Philip Trotter, expected to be a key witness, more insights and disclosures are anticipated. For now, we are left with the piercing questions about integrity, political accountability, and the extent of corruption within our political system. Now, as more details emerge, I think it is imperative that the responsible entities are held to account and corrective measures are implemented to prevent a recurrence of such horrific financial malpractice. Now, we will continue to follow this story closely, bringing you updates as they unfold. Now, with that being said, let's engage in the comments section. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about this whole VBS scandal and the EFF? And while you're at it, please give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we meet again, it is goodbye.